We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Yeah. Experts on reload. Yeah, yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal revolution. Ayy. Ordinal revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution. Ayy, Bitcoin is the one, no substitution. Ayy, with shit seeing you go be, it's ordinal revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live in the Ordinal Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing because, guys, today is the day Dog actually goes from Bitcoin over to Solana using RuneMine. And today, we are lucky enough to have on the guys from RuneMine later today. They're in a space right now, but after their space, they're immediately going to jump over here. So make sure you guys are tuning in. That's probably going to be around 12:15. So that'll be the back end of our show. But we have an absolutely amazing show for you guys today. We're actually going to go over some tout subnets later because there really could be a lot of opportunity there. And just to have a quick look, nothing crazy. But I definitely want to, make sure you guys are just caught up on what's going on everywhere in this space, not just what's going on over here, but we are going to cover everything. You're going to need to know about what's going on over here as well. We got a lot of big news coming in right now. We're going to get right into it. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling on this February 19th? Hey, what's going on? What's going through your head right now?
What's going through my head is let's turn the engines on. Let's go. Let's hit the NOS. Let's start this uptrend. That's what's going through my mind. You know, going over the last two bull market years, 2021 and 2017, February was at least 95% green daily candles, right? We're not really seeing that this year, but it's kind of the opposite. So does it start a little bit later, maybe towards the end of this month, maybe, but Bitcoin's definitely going back and forth, not really deciding what it wants to do as of right now.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Bitcoin's sitting right now 96,045. Not where we thought we were going to be, but we're still not low either, right? We had guys, Arthur Hayes coming in saying we're going back to 70K, and Bitcoin's really standing strong. I mean, we talked about it last week that there's a wall between 94 and 98 that we just cannot. As soon as we get to the one side, we get rejected. As soon as we get to the other side, we get rejected. And we've just been in this little zone fighting for our lives, it feels like.
Yeah, well, people that really like to swing trade are having a great time, right?
Yeah,
because they're trading it, at sweeping the low here, trading it back up to 98 and getting out and thinking, they're going to probably take advantage of that as many times as it happens. But for people that are just kind of waiting for the rest of the space to explode, it's definitely frustrating, right? We've been through phases like this in 2024, through the summer. We went through this big time in July, August, and there were the difference is during those periods, the bleed outs were really bad. I feel like, here we are at least ranging and staying within the range without like massive bleed outs. So that's the nice part of it.
Well, let's jump right into that. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin monthly chart return. We haven't looked at this in a little while. Let me see if I can zoom in here for you guys.
Just do it once.
Really letting me.
There you go. That's good enough right there.
Okay. So basically, let's take it back here to last year, kind of what you were going on. June we had -6, July was 2, August was -8. So these 3 months right here were just really tough, right? And then September +7 started to get a little bullish. October +10.76 started to get really bullish, and then in November, obviously 37%. With a kind of a pullback here in December, -2, and then 5% in January. Right now, we're about -5%. So we're basically losing what we gained in January and February. But I guess my point here is let's take it down a notch. Let's go down to what happened in 2017. It feels very similar to this cycle. We're kind of repeating what happened in 2017. You see 2017, January was -0.4, so basically even. February was +23%. March was 9%, -9%. So, just really just sideways. And then boom, you had April +32, May +52, June +10, July +17, August +65. I mean,
so it was. I feel like it's similar up until the start of 2025, right? If you look at the January, yes, we were kind of even there, but like we had a 5% push in this year. But that towards the end of the month, I felt like that was kind of just went away. February is the big shocker, though. If you look at February in 2017, plus 23%. You look at February in 2021, plus 36%. I think we're down this month, right? I have to take a look, but I think we're down this month in terms of February. Like if you look at the daily chart, like every day almost in February is a red candle. So that's what's different. It's almost kind of inverted a bit from 2017 to start this year. So probably maybe get a red month for February and then a green month for March. So maybe an inversion of what we saw in 2017, and then that will continue from March, April, May into the summer, and May's typically when things kind of peak out in the spring. To end the thing off.
Well, on a good note, though, we haven't had 2 red months in a row, right? Let's take it back to 2024. April red, May green, June red, July green, August red, September green, and then green, and then a red December, a green January. It's looking like it's going to be a red February. So I think we can expect March to be green.
But you know what the problem is? It's not about like those green months in 2024, late 2024 was just Bitcoin. It was all Bitcoin, right? And that's the difference, right? So if you're a Bitcoin maxi and laser eyes, then you're happy, right? And I don't even know if they're happy because think they probably wouldn't sell. They're just happy that like Bitcoin's going up and maybe like the rest of the markets aren't. There were specific majors and blue chips that did definitely benefited. Like you have the XRPs, the Solanas, the Cardanos that benefited in that 3-month span, September, October, November. Even RUNES had a pop up in October and November, but it wasn't like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin had its big, huge, gigantic run up on Bitcoin flexing its muscles, especially after the election. And, every month kind of had that crazy pop up the moment. November with Bitcoin, December, early December, and then January had the crazy 109, right? So I think the rest of the market's like, okay, when is it kind of the rest of the market's turn? Right. And that's why it doesn't feel the same, as like 2021. And we're only in the second month. So
this is the same thing happened here. You got in November of 2020, Ethereum was $180. Bitcoin was 13,000. Right. So the same thing happened back here in October, November, December of 2020. And Ethereum really didn't start taking off until 2021. It really started taking off going into spring, right? That's when it got to like $4,000 to $5,000.
Well, I think February.
But it was yeah, February and March, and then April and May were really good for Ethereum as well. That's when the GameStop thing happened. That's when everyone's trading Shiba, right? That's when things got really insane for Ethereum going into the spring there. But yeah, you're right, February, March. So I mean, we're basically seeing this already, where it's just Bitcoin only, and I think eventually, dude, we're gonna get to a point where alts are going, and you might say like, oh, who cares about Ethereum? But Ethereum is kind of that one we're kind of waiting for, because if that takes off, that's kind of go season for alt season, right?
It is, and well, at least that's how it's been the past,
Yeah.
2 cycles. Kind of, like the 2017 was a bit weird, right? I wasn't really paying too much attention in the spring of 2017. I was definitely paying attention in the Q4, and everything really started to take off. But you know, people are waiting for that trigger,
Mhm.
right? And you might say, okay, well, will that affect Bitcoin layer 1 assets? I actually think so. It will, because right
do.
now the mentality is that people that are holding Bitcoin itself don't feel like Bitcoin is exhausted in terms of its next level up, and they
Yeah.
don't want to get out of their Bitcoin until they feel like it's exhausted, right? So there's a double kind of I don't know, variable that
Yeah.
is going against alt season a little bit, right? So one is, the ETFs and the nation states having FOMO. And then you have
Yeah.
like retail holders, right, that are smart and been in multiple cycles, some of these whales, and they are playing off of the nation state FOMO and like all this strategic reserve from the state level and eventually federal level. And so they're like, I'm not selling my Bitcoin into an
Yeah.
altcoin right now. Bitcoin's probably going to get to 150,000 by spring. Why would I let go of it right now? I want to let go of it when I feel like it's exhausted, at least for like a good part of the year, and then I can get in some alts and then get back out of those alts and back into Bitcoin maybe before Q4. I don't know what the plan is, but there's definitely strategy happening, in my opinion, with a lot of these whales right now saying Bitcoin's not done, and that's why I'm not getting out of it.
Well, and it's also the risk factor. It's really risky right now to go into alts, right? It's really I think Bitcoin's the safest asset in the world. So when you're in something like Bitcoin, you feel very safe, right? You're just like, whatever, it doesn't matter. In 4 years, I know it'll be higher than it is today, no matter what happens in the next 6-8 months. You know what I mean? Is there some black swan event happen? Doesn't matter to me. This is a long-term investment. But some alts, even for me, they're not long-term investments. They're very short-term investments, right? And the whole objective would be to get more sats at the end of the day, right? To kind of get back into Bitcoin. And it's not that time to go risk on yet.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for majority of the alt market, but there are, the selective ones that like they're not going anywhere. There's institutions that have put heavy amounts of capital into them, like Ethereum, Solana, as much as you hate XRP, that they're like they've been around since 2013, and sure they
But
raise
it
money
doesn't
and
mean
they liquidate it. But
it
like
doesn't mean something can't happen. So with Bitcoin, nothing really can happen. It's just like it's one of the things. But like some news article could come out tomorrow about XRP, and it could drop 90%. Right? There's factors involved that things can happen. Yeah, I mean it might not. There's probability of nothing not happening, but the fact it's still risk on for the fact
I
that you
mean,
are depending on
every
stuff like
asset
that.
has a possibility. Like,
Not Bitcoin.
yeah, Bitcoin, MicroStrategy. If it tanked, if something happened within that, like the way that they, bought Bitcoin and they go bankrupt or something, the news
Yeah, but
itself
again,
would
to my
plummet
point though,
Bitcoin.
in 4 years it doesn't matter. It'll be back. It'll be back higher to the
Well, I
price.
mean,
You
you could
can't
say
guarantee
that.
that with XRP. You can't guarantee that with Cardano. You can't guarantee that with any other asset besides Bitcoin. You can't.
I mean, there's like people thought that when Solana was $8.
I'm just saying you still can't. Like you can't guarantee that Solana is going to keep running. You can't guarantee it. But I can guarantee you Bitcoin can. That's the
Yeah.
big difference. That's
Well,
the risk on risk
I
off
mean, I
point,
think it's the
right?
least amount of risk. Yeah.
That's kind of my that was kind of my point 100%. All right, let's move along here. So the minutes of the Federal Reserve's January FOMC meeting today at 2 p.m. So what is that? That is where we kind of read the thought process behind a decision. The decision at the time was to keep rates the same, but this is where we kind of see the in-depth thinking in the process of this. If one of the Fed members come out and say, guys, I really, really think we should cut rates, that's going to be seen, right? That's going to be seen, or the other way around, where most of them were in majority, because at the end of the day, Jerome Powell makes a decision. He does take his people say to his decision, but he makes that decision, and we're gonna kind of see what they were thinking in those hours before the meeting itself.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same rerun of the testimonial, the
Yeah.
Congress, right? And people aren't really necessarily, in my opinion, taking as much to weight of what he says now. And he's actually the testimony to Congress was really positive. I felt like, it was kind of like we're looking good, but like we also don't want to lose a grasp on our momentum. And so we're gonna, probably that's what he's gonna come out with, I imagine. They don't want to break momentum and go backwards. And so pausing made the most sense to them. So I think today is going to just be just status quo, go through, the next type of thing.
If you're a trader, are you going to trade through this? Do you think this could cause volatility in a way of liquidations?
If it was a CPI event, yeah, I wouldn't. But this
Yeah.
one, I
I
mean,
mean, just in
honestly,
general,
I still feel like there's like, FOMC is just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like it's one of those things that it can really wreck the charts, right? But the minutes haven't really been that big of a deal. I
yeah.
feel like in the past, but any of the like, CPI or the testimony was supposed to be a big event, right? But stay safe. I would say probably,
Yeah.
just because anything FOMC, it's like you never know.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually curious to see what happens. I'm not really a big trader, so I won't be trading this, but I'm definitely gonna be watching and kind of observing what this does. But we'll see. Elon Musk to discuss a Doge dividend tax refund for every taxpayer with President Trump. Elon proposes $5,000 Doge dividend checks for all Americans, funded by savings from his Department of Government Efficiency. How do you feel about this? Potentially $5,000 to $8,000 in dividend checks for every tax-paying American.
So I'm a little torn on this just because I think $5,000 would be really good for the crypto space, because what it
Yeah.
would do is it would give you a little similar situation to what we went through last bull run with stimulus out there, except for it's going to be more. The difference that this go around is that time, people didn't care how it was going to affect the economy because we were just going through so much with COVID and all
Yeah.
that. This time around, I think there's a lot of people that that are taking it, and people that are in the financial markets and economy analysts and economic analysts and stuff are worried that it's gonna shoot inflation up. I'm sure that Trump probably doesn't love that. If it shoots inflation up, the Fed probably won't love that. But it's kind of like they've said it already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, how do you put that genie back in the bottle? I don't know if they can. And there's a lot of citizens that are probably like excited and saying, "Oh, I knew that this is what I voted for. This is, blah 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 blah. I'm happy." And then you have the opposition that's probably like gonna be shooting this down, saying how bad of an idea this is and all this stuff. So it's gonna be interesting how they maneuver through this, because they've kind of stepped in the mud a little bit by even talking about this.
This is just Elon, though, right? President Trump hasn't really said anything
Yeah,
about
but
this, from my understanding.
well, I think they did mention it a little bit in the
Did they?
interview last night. I think so. But I could be wrong about that. But the problem is that Elon, from what I've seen with a lot of his interviews or just his talking points and stuff, is that like he wants to show like productivity, and also just him making the statement. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I just don't know like how he puts that genie back in the bottle. I don't know how you do
Yeah.
it.
Well, I think it's stupid to do this. As a taxpayer and paying American, I would love $5,000, right? But same time, we're $34 trillion in debt. Like,
Yeah.
let's start paying that down a little bit. Just let's be responsible as citizens, right? Because if you're gonna save the country money and then just give it back to the people, like I mean, I guess the point is to get it out of the hands of corruption. But at the same time, it's kind of like let's fix our country first. Let's go back to being the greatest country on earth first, and then let's worry about the taxpayers later. So what I'm hearing too about something like this is just kind of like by 2020, this won't be until Doge actually closes of July of 2026. It's not anything that's like can be done until this money is actually recovered or stopped for the spending, right? You can't just you can't spend what you haven't recovered yet.
Correct.
So I think that if it does happen, it'll probably happen in like 2026, 2027. And the sense of that would kind of be like going into the next election, right? You kind of want,
To
everyone to
save
be
it in
very
your back
happy.
pocket.
Well, yeah, exactly. You want everyone to be happy going into election season.
Yeah, but
So
you have to also remember that they're not clawing back money; they're stopping payments out, right? So these are government contracts, like a majority of them, and so it would be money that would have been sent out every month or whatever, or every whatever the schedule is for the contracts, and so that's where they're saving the money. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, but it could be a strategic move, like you said. Have it in their back pocket for 2028.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the thing too, is like, so that money hasn't even came in yet because that's taxpayer money, right? It just hasn't gone out either.
Yeah,
So it's kind
exactly.
of like you gotta kind of figure, yeah, just pay them debt. Let's get I mean, we're still in a deficit, right? We're still, even if we get down to $1 trillion deficit, we're still negative $1 trillion. Like,
Yeah,
let's figure it
I
out first. Like, so
yeah. There's gonna be people that say, well, it's 1.7 trillion or whatever, 1.4 trillion, and you take that off of a $34 trillion debt, and it's like 32.6 or whatever, right? And trillion, you're like still like miles and miles away. But then
yeah.
if you try to bring that argument, and then you kind of give the argument to
But
the other
that's like saying I'm not paying down my credit cards because I'm
Well,
already 100K in debt. Like, it's like,
there's a
well,
lot of
you're
people
gonna
that
have
do
to-
that. But
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but and then you can feed into like the other side of the tables thing, saying, well, U.S. aid is only 1% of the total budget, right? So I think it's probably do the best thing for the country probably is the best answer here, right? So
100%. Binance CEO Richard Tang sees a fresh reset for crypto under Trump, citing a shift from regulatory oppression and hinting at a global HQ soon. And then they came out and Binance US resumes USD services for US customers, officially resumes USD deposits and withdrawals. So let me unpack this a little bit. So Binance is hinting that they're going to have a headquarters in the US. They resume Binance US, which, in my opinion, was one of the biggest exchanges. Coinbase was so lucky. They lost two of their biggest competitors in the same month, November 2022. They Binance US went under, FTX went under. And so all the Americans who were trading on these exchanges obviously either went to Kraken, Coinbase, or Gemini. Majority of them went to Coinbase because it is the safest. But Coinbase got to be like, damn, they're back. But Binance coming to the US could be really big, and they could actually have some tax breaks and stuff. We know that Trump is going to put less taxes on any company who invests $1 billion into the US. So that could be something they're doing here.
This is bullish, man. This is really
Yeah.
bullish. Binance really coming to the US and setting like a global headquarters for Binance, right? So this is exciting. This is exciting. And again, like they'll have like the tax benefits if they invest 2 billion into the economy.
Yeah.
Times are changed, right? Times have changed. This
Yeah.
is something that I do agree too. Like Coinbase was still like very competitive before both of their top two competitors fell off. But like you're right, like that like it's like in football, like when someone recovers a fumble, but they don't know how they got it. That's kind of like what happened with Coinbase, right? There's like anyways.
Yeah.
But now this kind of opens everything back up, right? So I do think that I really hope that the regulation starts to come in, and I don't want like an iron fist type of regulation, but I want like a clear, concise, like lines regulation.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help them and companies that are really trying to make a difference in our space.
100%. But that's the thing too, is Coinbase didn't get greedy, right? Like Binance and FTX got really greedy, and they started really competing against each other to the point of they both couldn't make sure they had the funds. I mean, Binance ended up doing that, but they got scared because of the lawsuits. They kind of just pulled out, right? But FTX went under. Coinbase could have did exactly what FTX did. I mean, Brian Armstrong was telling, he actually had a phone call with CZ and said, "Yo, where's SBF getting this money from?" When he was buying up BlockFi, when he was buying up, all these like Celsius and saving 3 hours capital. He was like, well, where is he getting this money from? And we found out where customer funds, but Coinbase stayed on their path. They didn't push any further. They were very smart, so they definitely deserved what they got, and they went public too. So they showed the books to the SEC. They were 100% transparent with everything they were doing. So they just definitely deserved that push. But now Binance is coming back, and if you use Coinbase, you're paying. If you let's just say you have Ethereum and you want to go into Bitcoin, you're paying a good chunk of that in fees.
Yeah, believe me,
So,
it is. But one thing I want to say though is I think that was experience with Brian Armstrong, right? Like, I mean, Coinbase, 2013, I used them to purchase my first Bitcoin, actually.
Yeah.
And all the experience that Brian Armstrong has had, he's not young like SBF young, right? And so during the time, I think he's like slow,
Methodical.
calculated, and then I think SBF was more like, I'm Tony Montana, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
type of I got the SEC in my corner or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna buy you, and that was probably like the ultimate fall reason why he fell is probably that mentality and being young and not having the experience. So that's why I do respect like Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. Is they've been here, they're the OGs of the centralized exchanges.
Yeah, and CZ has said that call with Brian Armstrong got him thinking, and that's why he started taking a deep dive into the FTX token and realized that it was up against so many loans, and he saw that it was potentially. So he was given the FTX token from FTX, right? Or I think it was, I forget the name of the token. It was the FTX token though. He was actually given the token, so he was sitting on a large sum of it, and he was like, I'm just gonna dump it, but I'm gonna tell everyone first that I'm going to dump it, and that's what got the ball rolling. It's just crazy to kind of live through that, and I remember the day to day on that. It was just insane time to be alive for sure. But let's move along here. Two big things from Tether here. So Tether co-founder Reeve Collins is launching a yield-bearing stablecoin, attempting to challenge dominant players. The stablecoin will reportedly be backed by bonds and other real-world assets. So, obviously, if you hold a bond, you get, you get some yield paid by the U.S. government, guaranteed yield. They say bonds are the safest asset in the world because it's backed by the U.S. government. Well, the U.S. bonds anyway. And so,
wait, $36 trillion debt, U.S. government? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, they still pay they still pay the you know what I mean? You can be in debt as long as you pay your bills, right? Like the credit card company isn't going to be like, yeah, you owe this right now. They're going to be like,
give me that minimum.
Yeah, basically, because what happens is, you pay forever, and they love that, right? They love, but the U.S. government has always paid its debt. It's never, one time been late or anything like that. So they're going to be creating a, right now they have bonds backing the Tether, but is not yield bearing, but they're going to create one. I don't know if it's Reeve Collins that's creating this or Tether itself, but there is going to be yield bearing stablecoins. So you don't even have to buy bonds anymore. You can just own stable coins. This is good for bonds though, because a lot of people were saying like, what happens when you can get yield on stable coins? Why would you own a bond? Well, these are stable coins that are backed by bonds.
Yeah, but how does the bond side of business, because the stable coin side, I get why people are excited, but the bond side, I don't know how could that entice bond buyers basically.
Well, you don't got to go on the market and buy bonds. You just make, when you go into a stable coin, just go into the yield bearing stable coin, right? So you'll go into
but that's gonna not increase the bond market though.
It will, because the stable coin, as more people get into the stable coin, they got to buy more bonds to back the.
Who's got to buy more bonds? Oh, the Tether,
the company. Tether. Gotcha. So they're actually going into the open market.
They're the ones that are buying
the bonds.
Gotcha.
Because you're buying the stable coin. But as you sell the stable coin, they got to sell bonds to make sure it's backed 1-to-1.
I mean, actually, it's pretty smart, because now it's kind of like, they're not gonna give the full yield because you can't. You can't give the full bond yield because there's no
4%. They'll give you 3%.
But like and it's a smart business model. It's a business, so you can't expect 4, because if you expect 4, then they'll go out of business with this model. So and then all you gotta do is, you don't have to go through the headache, the tedious steps of actually getting a bond. Now you just get the stable coin. So I love this. I'd like to read more about it and see, make sure it's solidified and stuff like that. But Great idea.
And the fact that this was tethered too. So let's just say like Bitcoin hits 700K. You're like, you know what? I made a lot of money. I'm okay with getting out here, even if it goes to 1 million. I like my position. And you get into a yield back stable coin and you can earn yield on that. Like even if it's 3-4%, right? At least it's beating inflation. And that's the big thing. Now your stable coin is beating inflation or keeping up with it, depending on where we are. 2.9, if you get 3% yield, I mean, you're good until Bitcoin falls, which you're kind of planning on if you're getting out of it, and then getting back into it cheaper.
Yeah.
So moving on here, Tether has minted $1 billion USDT on Tron. Who the hell is on Tron, bro?
I'm telling you, man, Justin Sun is
Yeah.
taking advantage of the regulations coming in and US being friendly to crypto. You know, he just outside of this, I know this isn't directly related to him, but
Yeah.
Tron's in here. And he donated 30 million to World Liberty Coin, and he's an advisor now. So I think maybe Tether's getting a little bit bullish on Tron, and you know, we'll see if there's gonna be some activity on Tron. I don't know one single DApp or anything on there except for when they try to do the TRC 20s or whatever they were calling their inscription tokens. But you know, I do expect more kind of marketing and mainstream stuff about Tron now that Justin Sun is making these moves. You got to hand it to him. It's smart that he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I was looking at DeFi Llama, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But yeah, Tron is like top 4 in TVL, which is crazy. But we'll move on a little further here. Pro crypto Howard Lutnick has been confirmed by the Senate as the new U.S. Secretary of Commerce. He has hundreds of millions of exposure in Bitcoin, and he was actually on Pompliano podcast, and he said that he likes when Bitcoin drops in price because he actually has a borrowing and lending service where, you know, if you get liquidated, he gets your Bitcoin. So you can borrow against your Bitcoin with his product. And he was like, I make Bitcoin. If it goes up, I buy it. I don't care. And if it drops, people sell it to me because they get liquidated. So he's just like, he's in this to win this. And the fact that he's U.S. Secretary of Commerce, absolutely bullish for crypto.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of influence is he going to have in terms of, you know, digital payments with Web2 traditional platforms, right? I mean, he could already have an effect because I'm sure that the big wigs of, you know, corporations in you know, that specific part of the, you know, commerce in the US has gotten, you know, tipped off that he was going to be, you know, the Secretary of Commerce, right? So we're talking about Google integrating Web 2 to Web 3 with making Bitcoin more accessible and trustable to use. That could be a direct effect from, you know, this type of information. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of Web 2 platforms really start to embrace this digital asset type of payment option.
Yeah, 100%. Got 2 things left here. So Bitcoin mining firm Mara has acquired a wind power plant in your state of Texas with 240 MW capacity, currently producing 114 megawatts. That's MW to power the next gen ASIC miners that would otherwise be scrapped or resold. This is huge, right? Because Mara is now, you know, they're kind of going into, I guess, renewable energy now with you know, with Bitcoin. And right now Bitcoin's dropping month over month, you know, to bad energy, because bad energy is expensive. And you call bad energy like oil and stuff like that, but actually getting into these wind farms and stuff like that, where, I mean, I really don't care about that. I'm not a very environmental guy, but in the sense of, you know, the other people coming at us because like they did last cycle was, you know, Bitcoin's bad for the environment. It's no longer the issue.
Yeah. This is could set a precedent, right? It's almost kind of like, you know, not recycling, but, you know, finding another way to utilize these miners, right? And I think it's cool because they're not throwing them away. You know, I wonder what the difference is in energy, right, in terms of cost, because I'm pretty sure these are going to be all in West Texas because that's where all the windmill energy plants are. But yeah, This is gonna be interesting because I almost wonder if there's like an opportunity here for like those medium and smaller size miners
Yeah,
to be a part of something to where they can still participate in
yeah,
Bitcoin mining because they've been really pushed out due to energy costs and competition and stuff. So this could be another way for that's happened. Also,
yeah,
you know, this could also really make the margins of profit for the merge mining better too, right? Like if the energy
yeah.
goes down for that and you're earning Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bell's coin, and Lucky or whatever the heck else is there, right? Now you can cut some energy costs as well.
Well, the problem with the small mine is being, this helping small miners. It's really expensive to get started with when mining. You have to buy the
That's
land.
why I
You
was
have to buy
thinking
the
like,
miner.
yeah,
It's
like
actually cheaper for them to
joining
actually
like a
just use
pool.
electricity.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if there was like four, or like, four small to medium sized miners that go together,
yeah.
that's where it would make sense.
100%. And people are going to figure out ways to mine Bitcoin for free, whether that's, like satellites or maybe, maybe just having one wind farm thing in your yard and that's powering an ASIC miner, right? All you need is one. You already own the property. I mean, if it's no cost to you besides maintenance, I mean, it's free electricity, right? So
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah,
win. So
yeah, I
similar to
mean, I
that.
think you'd have to have at least, like, that would cost, I think, too much because you have to set up the windmill, and you'd
Yeah.
have to have some land and get the permits and all that stuff, but, yeah, I don't know. We're
Yeah.
gonna
We'll
see
see.
where this goes.
100%. In 2024, ETF funds saw the biggest gains in Bitcoin ownership as individuals took the largest decrease. So this is basically meaning that, a lot of people either sold their Bitcoin, like individual people, and got into these ETFs, or they sold out completely and the ETFs just came in and just bought it all. But it is going in, more Bitcoin has went into ETFs and funds over the last year, and it has decreased dramatically the people. And we did see Plan B though came out and said that he turned all of his Bitcoin into the ETF as well. Do you see a lot of people, don't want to self custody, don't really care about Bitcoin in the way of being self sovereign and stuff like that? Actually, just jumping in these ETFs instead because that's where their stock portfolios are anyway.
Yeah, I wonder what the numbers are. Like, so
Yeah.
you're talking about, like, self-sovereignty type of, having your Bitcoin on a ledger has gone down, correct? The addresses?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not just that too. Like, yeah. So the people, the single people who've had the Bitcoin, let's just say in a hot wallet or cold wallets, has decreased dramatically as the ETFs kind of picked up. Are people selling their Bitcoin into these ETFs?
I mean, obviously, that seems to be the case,
Well,
right?
no, I don't know because if they're just selling it to kind of get out of Bitcoin because it's at 100K, or if they're and these these big funds are
Getting into
coming in and buying
cash
it.
or getting into stables. Stables increased
Yeah.
quite a bit the past 6 months, right? Could be that. Could be getting into stables. But yeah, I just don't know. I mean, like, I feel like the
Yeah.
people that would go into the ETF are like older people that, like,
Yeah.
they should. Only reason they hold Bitcoin in a ledger or something like that is because that was the
Yeah.
only option. They didn't want to trust, like, a centralized exchange and all that stuff. So I don't know if I would, really give the ETF the credit for doing that. So I need to dive into just more research on this because it could be that, they're in stables
Yeah.
waiting, but then that goes against the whales and the people that have the experience of saying, I'm not getting out of Bitcoin until it's exhausted. And it's definitely
Yeah.
not exhausted. I think most everybody can agree with that for the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree too. But yeah, jump to the next thing here. So I want to jump in this really quickly. I'm not gonna spend too much time with it, but I came across these subnets. So if you guys want the website, I can share it with you guys too. But so these are at the Tau, which is BitTensor, one of the biggest AI projects out there. These guys are building these subnets underneath Tau. So it's Tau and then all these subnets. You can see subnet 0, which is root, was the first one. It is at a, let's go to USD. It is at a 2.4, I'm sorry, market cap. Yeah, $2.4 billion market cap, right? And then you have things like Choots at a $12 million market cap, which is number 64. And then number 8 subnet is at 1.9. So there's a lot of opportunity here, guys. And I want to share that with you. This is something that I personally am going to be taking my time. I'm going to go through each subnet, probably in order. Like I'm going to go through the first subnet. What is this doing? Go to the second one. What is this doing? So basically, think of Tau as like a layer 0 now, and then all these subnets as layer 1s on top of Bitensor. This is something I think we need to be paying attention to. I know it's not the Bitcoin ecosystem, but this could lead to huge money. And that's something that I've been looking at personally. But what do you think about this? Do you think this is opportunity here?
Well, I mean, if these are all like legitimate layer 1 chains, and I think that the oversaturation is going to happen very quickly. But if it's kind of like more like protocols like virtuals, but more on a serious taking it themselves more serious in that aspect, then I think that like that's where it could be really beneficial. Is that how it's working? Because I know the subnets before weren't really taking off because they weren't tokens, right? And did they tokenize them, or how
Yeah.
do you?
So each subnet controls their chain. I got to do more research because I'm still fairly new in here. But from my understanding, each one of these have their own token for their own chain. Right, you're gonna be able to do different things. You got to remember, virtuals was a subnet before
Yeah.
it left for base.
Oh, that's
right.
true. Yep.
So these guys are, a lot of them are doing very similar things to virtuals, but a lot of them are doing a lot of different stuff using AI and DeFi and stuff like that. But I mean, you got to look at some of these, right? So you got number one, Apex, at a $2.45 million market cap. I mean, I have a feeling in a year from now, yeah, you're going to see saturation. You're already seeing it. Like you can keep going down. I mean, there's 50, right? There's like 67 right now, and you're going to see hundreds of these. But I don't know, man. I feel like at least paying attention to these is really going to get something big. I mean, look at this one, sports tensor. Like I don't know what they're building, but I
I mean, can
definitely
you get
want
more
to.
information by like clicking on it, or no?
Yeah, you can get, let's just say for root, for instance, right, which is subnet 0. It takes you here, and you will have to do your own research with this and kind of figure out. But you can connect your wallet and you can buy it and you can sell it all through the site. This is taostats.io, TAO stats.
But where's the information on what it is?
So yeah,
it's right there.
They have websites. You can go to they can go to their Twitter. You can go to their website. You can figure everything out. They got white papers and all that stuff. So everything is available. You just gotta find it.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
So, yeah. So it's just, but this is mainly Tau Stats is mainly stats, this page, but it was a really good place to kind of find them all in one spot. So like I said, it's something I'm going to be probably indulging myself in this weekend and going forward, but definitely want to keep you guys informed with this. And we're going to be start doing that a lot, trying to find the hottest things before they go absolutely nuts. And then, and it's too late. So, or it's the end of the cycle. All right. Let's kind of get into that Bitcoin price action, guys. Brought to you guys by BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be the largest leading leverage trading platform in the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. Guys, we had them on yesterday, and they got me really bullish because, I straight up asked them. I said, hey, are you guys potentially going to be like hyper liquid? And he said, that's the ultimate goal. And, what they want to do, they want to enrich the community. Their testnet is dropping really, really soon. It's going to be on the Spider chain. What's that? It's Bionics, right? Bionic? Botonics. Yeah, it'll be on Botonics, and that'll be probably within the next couple of weeks. And then they're going to be launching on a layer 2 Bitcoin sidechain. But they're really going to be pushing, what we do here in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Potentially have all the runes on there. You can take leverage on pretty much anything you want. These guys are going to, and then also without leaving the ecosystem, you can also take leverage on, let's just say, some of the bigger stuff around it. You can go long, you can go short. There's always a way to make money when you're using leverage, and then you guys can use bitperp.io for that. Look out for that really, really soon.
Yep. And before we jump into the Bitcoin price action, guys, if you guys could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, and subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, hit that like for us, share the space. And on the abstract side, if you could share the stream, that would be greatly appreciated. But let's take a look here. Today wasn't as bad as yesterday to start the day, which is definitely a good thing. Yesterday was tough. It was brutal, but let's take a look here. You can see overnight, it looked like Asia really wanted to bring the price back up, and it did. We got back to like 96.5, right? And then whenever we hit that 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, where TradFi decides to come in and says, nope, we are going to short it, I guess, because they took the price down all the way to 95.5. But we have made a rebound here, so that's a really good sign. We are back to 96,200, so not too far from where they were, 96,600, so about $400 away. So that's a good start in my opinion. Yesterday we didn't really see any let up. It was kind of just like a bleed out. So I am a little bit more optimistic for the rest of the day. Let's take a look at the support and resistance levels. As of right now, we are sitting at this 96,123 price here, right around there. And you can see the resistance is pretty strong right here. And the resistance kind of overpowers right on that level right below at 95.9 as well. It's not horribly lopsided, but it is stronger on the resistance side. So some big buys could definitely overcome some of that. But the levels that we're at right now at this 96,200, it's being overpowered. If we can get back to 96,400, 96,380, that's where the strength comes back in for the support, as you can see right here. It's pretty strong up here. If we can get back here, then we're competing again in terms of trying to get this uptrend going. So I'm still feeling pretty good though, because I do feel like the price action has been way more healthy today than it was yesterday. Yesterday was, like I said, it was kind of like a slow bleed out. Didn't really know what to expect for the second half of today. Today, I do see kind of ranging back and forth, some choppiness. Like I said, it is a little overpowering on the resistance side. So we might, play with, 95.5. But I do think that we, end up bouncing back up here. We are kind of testing this 50-day EMA, the top of the channel here. That's what this purple line is, the top of the 50-day EMA. So we are currently right above it. So if we can stay above this and not really lose to the downtrend, that would be good. That would be great. That means that, we're hanging in there, showing some strength. And then we can slowly kind of regain that uptrend here. So that is what I'm seeing for this, the rest of today. And then the 4 hour actually looks good. So if we can get the hour chart back on track, and let's say that we fight that resistance, the support gets stronger, we get back to 90, we get through 97,000, then we're really starting to play with the 50-day EMA channel on the top side here. If we can break above that, that would be great, because you can see the MACD looks pretty good here. The stochastics looks pretty good. I mean, we haven't been here for too long. You can see over here, this was, and oversold for a very long time. We just got here really not too long ago. So if we can get that hour chart, the next 4 to 8 hours, just get through this little bit of the storm that we're dealing with right now with that resistance and pop back up, we can see a bullish next couple of days leading into the weekend. That's what I'm hoping for. But I think we first need to really kind of challenge this top of the 50-day EMA on the 4 hour chart, and we start by getting that 1 hour chart bullish again. And so we really need to see what happens here for the second half of today.
Yeah, man, great job as always. All right, let's jump into today's fear and greed. It's disgusting. Last week was a 46. Yesterday was a 47. We're a little lower than last week, so a little under 46.
44.
Yep, on the button.
You're making it easier for me. I like it. I just want any Blue's Clues.
We've been here. We've been between 40 and 50 for, it feels like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, with a day here, a day there that we pop above. Man, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. That sucks. All right, let's get out of here. All right. Let's kind of get into today's roll call here.
Let's get it.
With first is first, and today we got my man PJ and Z. Let's add you to the chart here. So if you guys don't know, we're taking notes here. Here in Bitcoin, first is always first. So we're kind of just seeing who's first on the comments each day. It's fun. Nothing crazy, but we will be giving a prize at the end of the year to the person who wins this, and it's going to be quite significant. It's going to be worth it. I think so. I mean, all you're doing is commenting in the chat, right? So, but let's see where PJ and Z was last. Oh, he joins the 5 Timers Club, bro. Congratulations, PJ and Z.
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with the baseball bat.
We got 2 people joining the 5 Timers Club. Danny Boy yesterday, PJ and Z today. Tim Baker with 2. Webdro still in that lead with 8. And then I think Yasher, Yasher is also in the 5-timers club. Shout out to Yasher. You guys are legendary, man. Thank you guys for participating every single day. 2 more days left in this week. Let's kind of see who wins the week. But right now we had Tim on Monday, Danny on Tuesday, PJNZ on Wednesday. Let's see what happens the rest of the week. But congratulations to PJNZ. Today is your day, my friend.
Yep.
All right, let's get in the rest of it here. So ASAP Benji says, yo, PJNZ took my turn. So PJNZ came in at 428 yesterday, and then Benji came in at 441. Wow, pretty crazy. Danny Boy pops in at 512. Shout out to you guys, man. Really making the chat all day long yesterday. Congrats, PJNZ. You're not old after all. Webdro, where you at? And then Webdro pops in. Looks like I'm the old one. He says health issues suck. Oh man, I'm sorry. Sweat, work out daily, and get your full sleep. Yeah, man. Shout out to Webdro, man. PGNZ says, "Sup, lads. Let's hope the Reaper doesn't smoke the graveyards." No, man. You made it to the show. Tim Baker with a hey. Then we got Malam Yuri coming in here. Yo. How's it going, guys? And then Glass Hopper, good morning. Lackey Lukey says hello. Nagi, let's go. And then my man, no, as always, GM friends. And then Nighthawk UXL out there driving that Uber in Cali. Shout out to Nighthawk. And my guy Cheaty's in here. Shout out to Cheaty. What's up, guys? Chief Axel, like every single day. Appreciate you, my friend. And someone new. We got ABCD popping in here with a hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your first time making roll call.
I wonder, is that ABCD capital or just ABCD?
I think it might just be ABCD, but I'd be cool if it's the capital, guys. Myself says 36 trillion is just what's public. It's most likely way more than that. U.S. debt will never get paid off. A debt jubilee like the Roman Empire did would be the best option. Yeah, I don't know what that is. But
I wonder if it's I'm not sure. I wonder if it's kind of like just a jubilee of like Jubilee to me is like a party. It's like it's a debt party. Now I'm not sure. Maybe it's kind of like wiping it clean or something. I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's kind of like and it's going. What do you mean it's going? All the debt's
going.
You have to remember.
Yeah.
You have to remember that there's debt because the bondholders. So if you do a debt jubilee, like you're just not going to pay your bondholders. Like there's no way around that without destruction of government, right? Like,
well, I think it's not. I think he's talking about not the bondholders. You still pay them because there's what's keeping things going. It's about not paying the other, countries.
That is the debt. No, that is the debt. The debt is the bondholders.
Yeah.
So China owns most of our bonds.
So I know Japan owns a ton.
Japan owns a ton.
A debt jubilee is the cancellation of a large amount of debt for a country or region.
So you can't do that when you have bonds, though, because all you're doing is the people who safe haven in the bonds are just going to get destroyed, right? Like, so that would actually, I mean, global financial, the entire ecosystem would be destroyed because everyone holds U.S. bonds, which that is the debt. Like the bonds are the debt. They're a bond that I will
Treasury securities, including bills, notes, and bonds.
Exactly.
That's pretty much everything that is being held by our other countries that are.
Yeah. So there's no way around it. The U.S., we can either get further in debt, or we can start paying it down. There is no debt jubilee. It's going to happen because it would be destruction of.
Because you lose the complete trust, and no one would buy bonds.
Yeah. Nope. And then you can't. Then it's over. Can't borrow. It's over. Steamy J says GM. Rick G says long live BTC and Ordinal Revolution. Yes. Go.
Hey,
Rick G. PGN says good morning. The graveyard get cleared? No, man, you're good. You're good to go. Matt says smash that like. Webdro said we'll find out soon. Danny boy, dang, PGNZ got reaps. No, he's good. He's good. It must have because we get in here at 8:30 and it just stays for us. So I mean, there's not so PGN says woohoo, and then nice, he got it, and then hey, hi guys, what do you think of Dog on Solana? Yes, we're actually going to get into that. Actually, right now, so let's just do that.
Well, real quick, shout out to Dry Grand, tipped us a Pengu, thank you, and we got a couple other people in here, but I can't see their names yet, so appreciate you guys.
Awesome. And then we have let's jump in here. So today's a big day. Slingshot, the #1 Bitcoin meme coin, just opened a bridge on Solana. You can now buy, sell dog with Apple Pay, credit card, USDC on 10 chains. And then Jake Allen said, dog just launched on Solana. Here's what you need to know. And I'm going to bring up a tweet from my guy Jake from MMBlog, because this is really kind of gets into how it's all happening, why it's happening, and everything else. So dog just launched on Solana. Here's everything you need to know. Contract address is dog. I do like how they do that on Solana. You can kind of put your own thing in there, but that's dog and then a whole bunch of letters and numbers. The bridge is Mind Labs. Shout out to Mind Labs. And we do know that they're using Near in their back end to do this using their sharding technology. You can purchase with USD. So you can go right from your credit card using Slingshot to buy it on Solana. The liquidity is 500K. So shout out to the guys who had the liquidity. And then the holder so far is 900. This is as of about an hour ago. So yeah. So currently the market cap on Solana is 2x the market cap on Bitcoin. Arbitrage traders should close the gap. Yeah. Okay. Should close the gap pretty quickly, and they did. Within the first hour of launch is almost 1,000 net buyers. Clearly, there's some demand for a trading dog in a high frequency manner. So you can see dog's chart ripped up there to 641 million, but that was just people getting overly excited and not waiting for the arbitrage traders to come in. And the arbitrage traders are the people that are going to be bridging into Solana to sell it there to kind of reap that benefit of doing so, right? So you pay the fee to the Rune mine, you get on Solana, you trade it, and that's kind of what happened. And then, then Block posts something and he's like, "Oh, look at the chart." But dude, it's arbitrage traders.
Yeah. It's always, I feel like it literally is like the media of the US like trying to take advantage of like a situation, but if you use logic, like they manipulated it. Like they're just like, oh, welcome to Solana, dog, blah blah blah. The market cap is back to where the market cap is where it is on Bitcoin. It's an arbitrage situation, right?
Yeah.
But it's perfect opportunity for people to take stabs at it. I'll tell you that. The
Rune haters are just sad at this point, right? It's just like,
I mean,
I love Block. He's my guy, but it's just like him and Francis. It's just, I don't know. They're just like, come on, guys. Like,
yeah. But like my point that I'm making is that it's look, BRC 2.0 is coming out. I'm excited to see what happens there. I'm not like, I'm just excited for both sides. Whatever's gonna play out is gonna play out regardless, right? But I think right now it's like it's easy to try to take a cheap shot at that, but you're manipulating information, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. And it's like, oh, it popped up, but like, if you were buying at 0.005 or 0.006, I mean,
you're a dummy.
What are you doing? Right? So it's like, just waiting for the price to come back down.
Yeah.
No, you are. But that comes with understanding. That comes with learning, right? Like, tuition is not free in this country, right? So you have to pay for your tuition no matter what you do. And this is another way. But I mean, still, I still think it gets way higher than this by the end of the year. So even if you did buy at 0.05, you'll be back to even pretty soon, in my opinion. But shout out to the Rune haters. Shout out to those guys, because without you, we couldn't have a massive pump that I believe is coming. So,
yeah. No, I agree with that. And look, to the ones that got in early on this and got the arbitrage opportunity, they made some good coin, obviously, like 200 million, almost 300 million difference in market cap. But the market cap already is back to 314, because when it got to 309, which is where it was like 2 seconds ago, you're looking at the market cap on Magic Eden, which was at 320. So people, a quick arbitrage opportunity again, right? So people bought it back up and they're bringing it back to 320. So very interesting dynamics though, because you didn't really notice this kind of stuff on Pups and BDC, which is also on Solana, because there just wasn't the attention that there is right now on Dog, so.
Well, that's because it wasn't on Slingshot right away. So when Pups and BDC got over there, it was just abridged over there.
Yep.
And then people were putting them on Jupiter and stuff like that. So it wasn't really that high demand or that like, let's go moment, right? It was like, and then Slingshot added them and stuff like that. But with Dog, people were waiting for this for a long time, especially the guys who want to hold that Dog receipt, right? So
yeah. And also they really do need to market this event, because as much as this is for Dog, this is also for the rest of the runes, in my opinion, because it's like Bitcoin, meme coins right now. It's like that's really the marketing that needs to go into this, because there hasn't been another rune that's had this much focus on an event other than the launch of runes, right? So, there needs to be a category now, like for the certain Bitcoin meme coins on Solana that are kind of separated, right? So we'll see how it plays out, though.
100%, 100%. But like the show's title today is "Time to Run Back Bitcoin Runes." Crypto Twitter timeline all about runes. So this is something we noticed yesterday. We both said, "Yo, do you see that this person tweeted? This person tweeted." So there's a lot of bigger names, people who are tweeting about runes again. I mean, one of them is Kook. You can love him or hate him, but like he has a huge following, and he was basically came out and said, "I'm bullish on runes," and a bunch of other people came out and said they're bullish on runes, and can we see a rune pump? I'm actually, for the first time in a while, bullish on runes. And I basically got out all my runes about 2 months ago, and it looks like it was a good idea. Because I got in dog. I probably sold dog at like $400 million market cap. And I just got back into it yesterday at 0.0028 was the price that I paid on MEXC. How are you feeling about this and what's going forward now?
So there's this really unique opportunity that I don't think anybody counted on for Solana to really push out all these worthless coins, and even if they pumped up high, they just were going, it was basically exhausting people's belief system. Right? They just had no belief after a while. The Libra coin literally was. I'll give that Libra coin credit to kind of be like, oh my God, like people took a step back and said, I really need to reassess my life almost, right? And there's no more fungible token ecosystem that you can build belief in at this very moment more than runes, because of how you get in and out of them, right? And it has the Bitcoin marketing with it. And I think because of that, some people that know how runes works, Kook, but before him it was Newsy Johnson, I think, was one of the first. That's where we got the title from. He was like, time to run back runes. F it, Newsy Johnson or whatever.
Yeah.
And that started to go a little viral. And so people on the timeline started talking about it, because runes is the opposite of kind of how these Solana coins are, to where the Solana coins are using snipers, they're using technology to literally milliseconds for you to get in and out. Maybe not milliseconds, but seconds, right? And the advantage is just you're against these insiders, you're against all this advantage, with the technology, using photon, using all and more advanced than photon. People have their own sniping tools and all these things, and you just don't have that on runes. Yes, you can try to snipe, but it's 10-minute blocks, so you're sitting there oh, I got this one, and someone's like, nah, I got this one, and then you got 20 other people nah, I got this one, and the price goes back higher than what it was, right? So it's actually anti-MEV, right? MEV, and that was one of the things that Casey intentionally put into the protocol, runes protocol, right? So it might actually be beneficial now, because now they'll say, well, what now that you have it on Solana, people can still do all these things. Well, these are already established communities, right? So you're not going to rip the belief out of these communities, and they're built different on Bitcoin fungibles. The runes communities are built different, because you have to wait for a buyer and all that stuff. You really have to believe in what's going on here, as opposed to Dog with Hat, which probably had some belief in the beginning, but Solana was just so degen and I'll say it, let's be frank, dirty feeling that that community dissipated really fast, right? And that doesn't happen over here, at least with Dog, Pups, $1 Billion Cat. Now you have a new one called Magic Internet Money, which a lot of people are really liking. It's the migration from the BRC20 Wizard token. So that's where I think the advantage is. And so the opportunity, is time. A lot of people describe opportunity as timing and luck, when those two things meet. And I think timing and luck is people are exhausted with Solana, and they might not even want to go to base right now, because it's really the same thing, right? It's and so this is where an opportunity lies, and we'll see if they take advantage of it.
Yeah, 100%. And you got to remember, with Solana, there's 50,000 new tokens every day, right? So it's how can you establish community? How can you establish a positive environment for people to be in, because that's at the end of the day, that's what people want, right? People want to, especially people that are consider themselves like, I'm online all the time, right? Like with your phone now, with your iPad, with your we're online all day long, and a lot of people have friendships. I mean, most of my friendships are through this camera, right? Right. And but I guess my point here is that people want to feel like they're a part of something. People want to feel like they belong to a community that they can believe in, that they can trust, that they feel like these people are the same as them, and they all have the same goals, which is financial stability and and fire, which is retire early and stuff like that. So freedom, what is it? Freedom, I forget the I is retire early. So freedom investing in retire early. But yeah, but it's this big thing that started happening in 2020. People were like, I don't want to work forever. Right. And then that's why they kind of got into crypto. That's why I got into crypto. Right. Like I didn't want to be a machinist forever. But by joining a community of people who are like-minded like yourself, and you can be a part of something, and you have a leader, someone like potentially like Leonidas, right? And that person is holding that flag for everybody and creating an even bigger community of people who believe in the same thing that you believe in. And you all kind of ride it up together. And people could say like importantly, meme coins are pumps and dumps and stuff like that. Yeah, but there's a difference between a meme coin and a community coin, and I think we need to start separating that. Dog and a lot of these runes are community coins. They're not just these dumb little pump and dump coins, right? Can you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, look, every day, weekday for the past almost I would say probably going on 9 months, 10 months. Like Leonidas has been holding a daily spaces, with like the dog. He's built this dog army, and if you see any of his posts, it's different from any other community. I don't even see that stuff from like Doge. There's no like leader in Doge right now, but they've reached the point of no return in terms of just decentralized and kind of established themselves, right? But I think Dog is different because they do have a face that has 250,000 followers. They have support in this army of people that when he posts about it, you have like 300 likes, you have like 100 comments, you have all this craziness happening, right? And now there's this plan. We're gonna see how it goes. I don't think there's anybody necessarily saying this is gonna be 100% work. It's gonna work for sure. But I think what people are saying is they appreciate this kind of approach, thinking outside the box. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, right now there's only about $800,000 in volume so far.
Yeah.
But it's stabilizing. The market cap is definitely stabilizing over there.
Yeah, it's only been 2 hours, right? So I mean, it's definitely. I mean, that's a lot for 2 hours, especially being a rune. I mean, I don't think it's done that in a while. 2 hours. So that's awesome. But you have to remember. Why does Leonidas benefit from Dog going up? He's not a giant holder. He said he got a few airdrops from he had a different couple wallets, and he hasn't touched his runestones, which means he's got 888,000 dog for each one of the runestones that he held. So he's not like a giant dog whale unless he bought some on the open market, and then if he did, that's his could be a reason why he's pushing, right? But like what other reasons why is Leonidas really pushing Dog and runes to really go to the moon?
I mean, I feel like it's because he wants the Bitcoin ecosystem to be on top, and because of that is because he has a platform as well that could be the future version of Google for ordinals and inscriptions of Bitcoin ecosystem assets, right? Within Ord.io. So he's literally putting like every blood, sweat, and tear into the effort of trying to make the Bitcoin ecosystem number one through the dog rune. And people might say, well, I don't believe that because he's against BRC20s and all that stuff. Well, I think his thought process and perspective of what a successful Bitcoin ecosystem looks like is different than what yours is, and it could be different from what mine's is, right? Like I won't say like remove BRC20s because that I don't know if that's the right thing to do, because there's definitely volume with Ordi and Sats and stuff like that. So who knows? Some of these meta protocols could end up winding and creating their own road of having a Bitcoin sidechain or whatever. Fractals created out of something that was trying to make things easier to use with Bitcoin layer 1 assets. But I 100% think it has a lot to do with the success of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Because if the Bitcoin ecosystem doesn't succeed, Ordinal doesn't have much success. It doesn't have success either. So
yeah, 100%. And I just actually just got some news. RuneMind's gonna be joining with a special guest in 5 minutes. So yeah.
nice.
So
Special
we'll
guest,
see.
okay.
Yeah. So, and it could be the leader of the dog army, but I
All right,
don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out really soon. But let's take it before they hop in. I do have a couple other things to kind of get into before they do hop in here. Let's try to jump into Magic Eden and kind of look at what is happening with the markets right now, because it does look like we have hit a bottom in a lot of different ways here, and not just with runes, but with the ordinals as well. You have, for the first time pretty much ever, Ordinal Maxibiz is about 6,500. This is before you get a whitelist to pay $2,000 for a black eyes, right? So everyone who is holding in Ordinal Maxibiz gets a whitelist for the black eyes. It seemed like that was kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news, because you did see these things get to like 14, 15,000 before coming crashing down. Dude, you can get an orange eyes for $6,000, right? Do you think that's a steal, or do you think that maybe is a little too high?
I don't know. Like I wouldn't say it's like crazy high, but like for me, I would want it to be a little bit lower than a Node Monk, or right around the same price. But that's just me personally, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what happens typically though, whenever they drop a new addition to their collection, right, a new color, is that the one right above that will jump up, right? Because now the black eyes will be like the floor, right? And so you know, a lot of people are bullish on the black eyes though, so maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe it jumps the orange eyes, but yeah, I would say it wouldn't be a horrible decision. You know, it's down 17%. So you would logically you would think that you'd be getting a discount. But was it getting hyped up because of the black eyes? You know, so was the price, you know, a little bit ago hyped up because of black eye launch? I don't know. Either way, one thing I will say is that there's people within the Bitcoin ecosystem community and outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem community that are really bullish on ZK and OMB. So I don't think it would be a horrible decision.
Yeah. Can you see these go lower? Like, can I wait a couple weeks and get this at 3,000, or am I begging?
When is the launch for Black Eyes?
So the 22nd, I believe, in about 3 days.
And do you benefit from Orange Eyes?
I think you get a whitelist.
Okay. Yeah. So I would imagine it's going to drop because of that. You know, so that means that Black Eyes, if Black Eyes is the new floor, then Black Eyes could actually be at the price of like Puppets and Node Monks right now. And maybe Orange Eyes gets to like 5,500.
Yeah.
And Black Eyes gets to 4,500. I don't know. We're just really gonna have to see. It's really hard to tell with OMB. OMB sometimes is a curveball to me, because like there'll be times where like there's not a ton of interest in it, and then all of a sudden like it's a Bitcoin floor, or you know what I mean? So
yeah, 100%. And what happens a lot of times too is people are going to be purchasing these black eyes because there's a few really rare ones in there that look phenomenal, right? So what happens normally is people just try to, let's just say they don't do a reveal right away. People just try to buy a bunch up. They call it like rare hunting, and you know, if they get a rare, they keep it, and if they don't, they dump it for cheaper than they post. Let's say they spend the 2K. You know, or 0.002 or 0.022, I think is the price. That's which is around like $2,000. Let's just say they sell it for 1,800, right? So potentially, if you don't really mind which one you get, and you just want to hold one for the aspect of the entire collection going up, then you might be able to pick one of these up for like black eyes for $1,500. And I'm actually in the boat of maybe doing that. You know, kind of waiting until the 22nd or 23rd and kind of picking up a black eyes for like 1,500 rather than spending $6,000 on one of these orange eyes. How do you feel about that? Do you think that is a good plan?
Yeah, I mean it could be, right. I do like the black eyes, and a lot of people are hyped about them, so that might be the play.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of good opportunities right now. I feel like, you know, with Node Monks, Puppets. I don't know, for some reason. I know, you know, I don't know what it is, but like, I feel like Node Monks to me is just a better value buy. And I think I just have that early inscription meta in the back of my head. And I can't get over it, man. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Like, in the entire collection is early inscription, right? So that's why I really like I'm looking at Node Monks right now personally. That's the one that I want to pick back up.
$4,900, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've seen that. Then you got something like the Bitcoin frogs, right? Sitting at $915. I mean, dude, we've never seen a Bitcoin frog this low. Like
that's low, man. That's low too. And like I'm thinking about maybe grabbing a couple of those, right? Because like I just feel like they're goated, man. Like frogs are goated. They still have that like early inscription meta too, because they're like 200 to 300,000 inscription number. But I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of variables that go into a lot of these opportunities. And some people might say, well, the frogs have been forgotten about. No, they haven't. They're number 6 in volume.
Yeah.
And if they were a little bit higher floor price, then they'd probably be number 3 or 2, or number 3 or 4. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
100%, dude. And then the pandas is also something I'm looking at, but that we'll take a look at that in another day. Because today we are lucky enough to have the man of the day, the team of the hour right now. We're gonna bring up Jeff. Jeff from RuneMind. Welcome back, man. How you doing?
GM guys, it's a very exciting day. I think we should have a Leonidas joining us in a minute. We've literally just come off another space, and I've potentially got another space to jump on in about 20 minutes. So, but yeah, super excited to be here. Thank you very much for having us, guys. For anyone that's not aware, Dog is on Solana, fully backed by the team and the community, something that we've been pushing for a very long time, and very excited. I think there's almost 2,000 new holders in the last couple of hours, and we've seen coming on to $1 million worth of volume, I think about 800 grand so far in the last few hours. So super excited, got straight up listed on Slingshot. Obviously, we're in communications with all of the other teams over on that side and expecting much more to come in the near term. So, super hyped.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I was just going to say, definitely seems like a busy day for you guys. You guys have facilitated, bridging runes to Solana before, but you haven't had this much attention, right, on you guys in the event itself. How would you say this situation was different? And would you say so far it's been a success, or if you can maybe go into that?
Yeah, of course. When it comes to kind of like communities and the backing you get from them, there's no one quite like the Dog Army. In all fairness to all the other teams we worked with, like we love working with all of them, but Dog Army really kind of have that presence on social media. They're really outgoing in their outreach, and I guess coming from that free fair launch, it is kind of like seeing everyone work for their bags, which is it's a really nice thing to see. Is something we've been kind of chatting about is the fact that it's such a great time for Solana to kind of have a project like this, with everything that we've seen go on over the last couple of weeks, to really bring like an opportunity for people to get involved where there's not, the largest whales are really small in comparison to many other projects. And this is really an opportunity for people not only to kind of get involved with Bitcoin assets on Solana, but also into a project that really kind of embodies a lot of this as well. So yeah, we've had some really great support from them. We're working on we've got a bunch of different spaces coming up. We're super happy to see the amount of activity that has happened already. We've got 3,000 transactions, almost 2,000 new holders. And this is only really the start. So very excited to see where it goes from here. And to get some more community members to come over and provide liquidity. If you're a dog holder and you want to be a part of this, you want to earn some yield on your assets, come over to Solana and help us kind of bring the liquidity up in these pools and make this tradable for anyone on Solana. So, super exciting. And it's a pleasure to be working with these guys on it.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely amazing. I guess my question would be like, with the bridging, because that's what you guys are doing right now. How did the dog come over and so quickly? Did you guys see like some big whales do a lot of movement, or was it a lot of single users coming over and putting a couple $1,000s here and there?
So far, when it comes to the liquidity, we've actually been working with our partners at runes.com who have helped us seed this initial liquidity. Between us and them, we've seeded the initial liquidity. We are seeing a crazy amount of transactions on our bridge right now, and there was definitely a bit of an arbitrage opportunity at the very get-go, and we're seeing a huge amount of the dog tokens move over into the Solana ecosystem. So there's like so many trades going on every moment. When it comes to liquidity, I know Leo's been chatting to a bunch of the dog whales and the dog community, and we're really excited to get some of them more kind of involved in the background of how everything goes forward.
Let's go, man. Super bullish.
Yep. Definitely want to welcome Leonidas back to Ordinal Revolution. We haven't talked since the New Year's amazing episode that we had you on. Today's a busy day for you. How would you say things have gone so far?
It's good to be back, guys. I'm honored to be here again. This is like the first time Dog's really done something like this. I sort of consider it like it's kind of, going to Solana is kind of like getting listed on a big centralized exchange or something like this, right? There's, tens of millions of people who can now buy Dog. We're seeing that happen. So, didn't know exactly what to expect here, but reception has been pretty good. We've got about 2,000 people, new Dog Army soldiers that now hold Wrap Dog on Solana. And yeah, we just got listed on Slingshot. We got verified on Jupiter. Liquidity starting to come over and be put into the pool. So, massive shout out to Jeff and the Mind Labs team. It's like we could not have done this without their infrastructure and their bridge. So like this is pretty cool that you could do this. This was not on my radar when Dog was being airdropped, that this is something that could even really happen. And here we are, and you can buy Dog pretty frictionlessly on we can call it the Solana Bitcoin L2 or something like this.
Gotcha. I know that like when this first happened, or whenever the idea rolled out, I was really excited about it, and I think Shizzy was as well. But you definitely got some pushback. We saw that from the Bitcoin ecosystem community. But then I felt like most of the Runes community and the Dog Army for sure was on board with this. How did you deal with that, first of all, and how did you get them on board? Because that seemed to be the case eventually.
So I think you always have to just continue sharing the same message and educating and just kind of showing up and like letting people, share their feedback. I think feedback's super, super important. And then kind of answering that and being receptive to that. What you don't want to do is just like completely ignore any feedback. Obviously, there are types of FUD that are just designed to try to like hurt a project or something. But if somebody's asking a legitimate question or a legitimate concern, I think it's very important to, show up and address that and talk about that. So I think there was a little bit of confusion, and, I saw some tweets framing it as Dog is, migrating to Solana or moving to Solana. And what's actually happening here is that there's a two-way bridge. This is not a one-way bridge where you're burning your Dog and then minting new Dog. That's like the official Dog on Solana. What's happening is you're locking up your Dog, your Rune Dog tokens on Bitcoin L1, and then it's frozen there. And then new Wrap Dog, that's a one-to-one representation of the real Dog on Bitcoin L1, is minted on Solana. You can trade that. If you buy that, for example, on Slingshot or Jupiter, you now hold a one-to-one representation of Dog that you can use to go back and withdraw from Solana back to Bitcoin, claim the Dog that's sitting there matching your Wrap Dog. So what this essentially enables is it's the same way every centralized exchange works. This is not a revolutionary idea, but ultimately people needed to kind of understand that. There's a lot of people who like that's not a concept that they were familiar with, and just educating people on the difference of a one-way migration bridge and lock and mint bridge, a two-way bridge. I think that was the little bit of the confusion there. And I think now that people understand like what's actually happening, and they understand that, hey, Wrap Bitcoin has existed on Ethereum and Solana for a very long time, and it's actually not like that crazy of a thing. I think people understand.
100%, man. I love this too because it's kind of like an FU to the exchanges, right? Like we're not paying you. We're not following your rules, right? The whole revolution right now is on chain. And everything, I love the fact that you were actually just keeping everything on chain because it was proven with the Trump coin there was more volume on chain than there was on the centralized exchanges, and I think it's going to get more and more like that. So this is actually absolutely amazing. But Jeff, I have a question for you. I have a question. What would you say to the people who are saying, bridging isn't safe? We have tons of bridges going down. Like, is your dog really going to be there when time comes to go back? What would you say to those people, Jeff?
Yeah, what I would say is that anything you do on chain comes with different levels of risk. We worked really hard to move forwards and provide a service for people that was wanted and needed at the time. To do this, we have focused on the security first. We have worked this on a permissioned rollout basis, so we're not letting anyone bridge tokens at any time. And we are now triple audited. So we had 2 audits by Halborn, and we've just had an audit by Sherlock. We've had a TVL of over 170 million already. It's a bit lower now because of the price of RUNES, but we've also processed $53 million worth of transactions over the last 6 months. So, I think we've kind of proven that our model of moving quickly, but not too quickly, and making sure that we have the correct security measures in place has been a working model. We are moving towards a more decentralized bridging architecture as time goes on, because we think decentralization is important, but it's always important to focus on what matters the most. And for us, it is security. This is the main objective for us, is to facilitate these transactions and not put people's assets at risk. As time goes on, we can then introduce more decentralization, more chains, more utility and more functionality through it. But right now, security has been our key focus from the get-go. But at the end of the day, everything comes with risks. And, if you're 100% don't want to take any chances, then you need to keep your assets on their original chains, assuming that the original chain don't go down. Fortunately, at this point, we can be pretty happy that that's not going to be the case. But all things come with a trade-off. If you want utility, if you want functionality, if you want integrations into the whole DeFi ecosystem that has been built on Solana, which is being shown to compete with the centralized functionality and speed and ease of use and onboarding, then you have to kind of have an amount of compromise. Our job is to make sure that is as little as possible, and that's really kind of been our core focus over the last 6 months. And we have been iterating with the bridges throughout these audits, and working through some of the kind of really minor bugs that have come up, so that by the time we got to a point of this launch, we've really we've put the bridge through the ringer, and we're super happy. Just for a couple of little stats I was given a minute ago, we processed $700,000 worth of transactions on the bridge in the first 30 minutes, and not a single failed transaction. So, we're pretty happy with how our architecture is working at the moment. And as we move forwards, we will look to make it more decentralized. But right now, it's secure, it's working, and it's working really well.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Great job. Couldn't go any better in terms of kicking this off. But okay, so Leo, I feel like most of the space that's in the Bitcoin ecosystem every day in and day out know the reason why this initiative has kicked off. It's to put the buy button, make it easier for people that aren't familiarized with the Bitcoin ecosystem, how to use the certain platforms over here. But let's go to them, right? Put that buy button in front of them, and it makes complete sense to me. We have the Solana kickoff today, but my question to you is, does this benefit the entire RUNES ecosystem as well, or is this only going to benefit Dog? Because obviously a lot of attention is for Dog, but I believe the RUNES ecosystem needs to have success as well. What's your perspective on that?
So I think we need to put this into context. We have, this asset BTC, which is the path that we should all be following. It's a $2 trillion asset. It's more than half the value of all crypto tokens, right? To buy BTC, Some people will do that on Bitcoin L1. It's less than 0.1% of BTC holders, right? 99.9% of BTC holders are actually buying it on a centralized exchange, wrapped on some other chain through a Bitcoin ETF in their Fidelity account, right? In Robinhood. This is how people buy BTC. This is how Bitcoin got to where it is today, right? And ultimately, like, my belief is that, you know, BTC being valuable makes our whole Bitcoin blockchain more secure and that ecosystem more valuable, right? Now, Dog is trying to do the same thing by basically putting buy buttons in front of, you know, hundreds of millions of people, just like Bitcoin has. And ultimately, you know, Runes, Bitcoin meme coins, Bitcoin NFTs, Ordinals, these are asset classes where, you know, that asset class can grow just on Bitcoin L1 infrastructure for trading. But ultimately, by growing the way Bitcoin has and giving buy buttons to many more people, people are going to, you know, click those buy buttons and increase the value of Dog. And that increases the value of the, you know, Bitcoin meme coin, Runes asset class. And I think that's very, very important to understand, looking at it from like a sort of just financial markets perspective. Forget all of the kind of technical stuff. You know, if the top Bitcoin meme coin is worth $300 million, right? Well, that's like the ceiling for Bitcoin meme coins. If Dog, and we've seen this time and time again, Dog will have some big centralized exchange listing or something like this, the whole Runes market runs. Like, we see this. This is very clear. We're all sort of in this together. We're one market. Yes, there is a PvP aspect to some degree, but, you know, Dog going to $1 billion, to $5 billion, to $10 billion, to $25 billion. I mean, I think it's very, very hard to make a case that that is not bullish for the other Bitcoin meme coins for Runes. Okay, so this is a situation of a very immature asset class maturing. Dog needs to become very valuable, and I think that will help all Runes. Similarly, other Runes becoming valuable also strengthens the Bitcoin meme coin Rune asset class. That helps Dog in turn. Okay, so this is pretty fundamental, and I think the sort of last 10 months of Runes trading very much shows this. Now, as far as ordinals go, I think there's this separate argument of all of these, you know, 2,000 people in the past 2 hours just bought Dog for the first time. They joined the Dog army. I think some subset of those individuals will go down the rabbit hole. They'll be like, okay, now I own Dog. I'm kind of on Team Runes now. I'm on Team Bitcoin. I want this to succeed. I want my Dog to go up. They're going to meet people. They're going to, you know, listen to your guys' show, for example. They're going to go down the rabbit hole, and they're going to, you know, say all of a sudden, you know, I want to own this other Rune, but that you can't trade on Solana yet. All right. I want to own a Bitcoin Ordinal PFP because that's, you know, what some of these guys that I'm following for my Dog are doing. Right. And they're going to download an Xverse wallet. They're going to go down the rabbit hole. And I think, you know, I'm not saying it's all 2,000. It might even be 20 or 40 or 100. I don't know the number. But some percentage of the people who buy Dog on a centralized exchange or on Solana are going to, you know, make their way into Twitter spaces like the Ordinal Show, into listening to you guys, into using the on-chain Bitcoin L1 tech, because they want to get closer to the actual kind of source of these tokens in the market, where they have the choice to buy thousands of Ordinal collections, thousands of Runes, and maybe not just the top ones. So some subset of people will go down that rabbit hole. The top of funnel is increasing drastically here, thanks to what Jeff has built here. And hopefully that does end up with people, you know, clicking, you know, a buy button on Magic Eden, for example, for an Ordinal PFP. And that is good for Ordinal's collections as well. This is my personal journey with Bitcoin. Has been, I bought on a centralized exchange, Coinbase, 10 years ago, right? I now hold Bitcoin on Bitcoin L1 self-custody, right? I bought counterparty NFTs, the OG Bitcoin NFTs back in 2021, my Rare Pepes, my Spells of Genesis cards. I bought those tokens as wrapped tokens through Emblem Vault on OpenSea. A month or two later, I then had Free Wallet downloaded. I was using all the crazy tech. There are people like me who will go full into something, but you cannot ask somebody to make this massive upfront investment You have to, put it in front of them, let them take a little step. They'll go down that funnel. They'll end up, some of those people will end up where we all are, which is like totally, totally insanely, focused on everything happening in Bitcoin and like owning everything, right? And spending lots of time here. I think some of the people that are buying dog today, that's where they'll end up, which is extremely exciting.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense. And I actually think there could be a snowball effect as well. So let's say this initiative works out, right? And dog really starts to get going. We pass $1 billion market cap. We're at like 1.5. I think people need to realize that, if you're holding another rune that is popular, but might not be, along the same initiative path at the moment as dog, you'll benefit because dog's market cap on Magic Eden is going to rise because the arbitrage situation is going to happen. Because of that, people are going to get bullish on Magic Eden, and that's whenever I think liquidity starts to flow more into Magic Eden. Do you see that possibly happening as well?
Look, I certainly think it makes sense. I think we cannot just be this little cult of 10,000 people who can just like spend all this time on Bitcoin L1. Like, we got to expand this situation, put buy buttons in front of millions of people, onboard millions of people to our Bitcoin tokens. A bunch of them will come and join our hardcore Bitcoin L1 scene. A bunch of people will choose to hold on centralized exchanges and on, Slingshot, on Solana and stuff. And people can choose whatever path they want there. We have to increase our top of funnel drastically. We cannot just be the same, 10,000 people buying and selling these assets on Bitcoin L1. We got to expand this drastically. That's what this is about.
Makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And like, to me, like, dog has ascended. Like, it's no longer a meme coin no more. It's more like a community coin. It has a giant thing of like this army behind it, the dog army. You have people all day long just tweeting about dog. I don't see people tweeting about Doge. I don't really see Shiba, but they're the top ones. I don't even see spaces about Shiba or about Doge or about anything else. Dog has really taken the fire here, and it passed Fartcoin today in market cap. It's really like that was huge for me by saying that. That was really cool. But how do you feel about that? How do you feel about kind of dog losing the meme coin name, because it's been really kind of smacked in the face? I get disgusted when people talk about meme coins, but it's really just become this community coin now.
Look, I think, as ridiculous as it sounds, I actually am excited that we flipped Fartcoin. Like, Fartcoin has a lot of tier 1 centralized exchange listings. Like, it's this thing was like $2 billion or something like a month or two ago. Like, on a relative basis, dog is holding up really, really well. And I think a lot of it does have to do with what you're saying. I do view dog as like a meme coin. I view the meme coins as, meme coins are an asset class. And like, the meme coins that I like are the idea of a meme coin in my head is, this is a pitcher and a ticker and an army of people spreading that to many other people. And, trying to go to the moon. That's at its core what a meme coin community should be. What it unfortunately has become in the Solana ecosystem specifically is a bunch of insiders teaming up to make sure that their friends get the contract address early and they get early access to token warrants. And they, set aside literally 80% of the supply of a meme coin drop and spread it around to their friends. Spread it around to market makers, spread it around to VCs, spread it around to KOL networks that are going to do paid shills, often undisclosed. They're going to, pay off centralized exchange listings. It becomes this totally insider game situation that is like the absolute opposite of what I would imagine meme coins should be. To me, meme coins should be off limits. Meme coins should be off limits for all of these like sophisticated VC type situation. Meme coins should be the asset class of retail. If we cannot keep the asset class of retail of meme coins, like, crypto is failing. Like, we are categorically being steamrolled by very established sort of elites in this space. And we are just going to get wrecked. And this will not, we will not have a meme coin super cycle. This will not end very well. We need sustainable projects that are transparent, have fair launches, healthy distributions, lots of people hold them, and they organically and sustainably grow. This whole thing of, I'm going to pay Binance $100 million and they're going to take it from, this low market cap to $2 billion. And then next month it's back to the start again. This is not good. This is very, very bad. If you hold meme coins, this is a horrible dynamic happening in the market right now. We have to change that. Dog is the catalyst for that change.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect timing, actually. I feel like, with everything that's happened with Solana recently, and like you didn't time this initiative with like people losing faith in the meme coin culture, but it seems to be like the star seems to be aligning, and I think that Bitcoin meme coins have a perfect opportunity here because the toxicity kind of came from like centralized exchanges and the fees that they charge, and then this happens with Solana and stuff like that. So I think there's a huge opportunity with this, and I'm glad that the initiative is happening because we're going to see what happens here. It's going to be exciting. But I do want to ask Jeff one question real quick because Jeff, you guys have the experience of bridging, runes to Solana. You've done it, like I said, multiple times. This is a third different community that you've brought over. Maybe you've done more than that. Do you see Mind Labs being a bridge to other tech stacks or other chains as well, or are you guys just going to be like the Solana experts for runes bridging?
Yeah, we saw an opportunity with Solana to be a de facto kind of Bitcoin L2 and a space to onboard many more users to the Runes ecosystem, whether they come over or not. That's kind of really the goal here. But we certainly are. We've built out a Bitcoin L2 bridge module that's going to be connecting Botanics once they launch, Bitlayer and Core Chain. This will also be tri-directional as well, so it will allow Solana directly to Bitcoin L2s. The really interesting thing about this is it is obviously these chains are EVM based, so we can expand this out to Base or any of the other kind of major EVM chains. We're also obviously considering networks like Ton and other places where they kind of have this 0-to-1 user engagement. This is definitely something like that we saw happening with Solana and wanted to tap into. Again, coming back to kind of like the security side, we actually already have this bridge module built and audited, but we are focusing on making sure what we have built right now is working as well as it possibly can be, and that there's no kind of issues here first. So we're taking a methodical rollout. Obviously, we're working on RuneShot as well, which is working with the near tech stack. There's a very high probability that we are going to add near bridging as well in the near future. No pun intended. But yeah, we really believe that Bitcoin can, and I think you guys have been listening to your shows, and I think we're along a similar lines where if you have Bitcoin assets and you have the Bitcoin network, you have all these other blockchains which do what they do best. But why wouldn't you want Bitcoin assets being utilized on these chains where they have the best user experience, where they have the fastest transactions, or it's an AI chain or whatever it is? I still don't have the right answers for what these chains do other than Solana. But the point is, if you can take Bitcoin assets over to these other chains and utilize them and always have that connection back to Bitcoin, and maybe we can build in some features where you're always able to redeem your tokens back no matter what happens on the other chain and stuff. That's super powerful, and I really think that Bitcoin can become this unifying layer where all chains, all you have to do if you spin up a new chain is you connect to Bitcoin, and now you're connected to every other chain, and that's kind of the future that we see. We are focusing right now on the Solana side and making sure that we get everything right here first, but very much yes, looking to expand to these other chains, and I think the Dog Army and Leo and all are on a similar lines. Like, let's get this Solana thing rolled out, let's get this right, and then let's see where else there is that 0-to-1 user attention and ability to bring more people in and get them excited about Bitcoin assets.
Yeah. And real quick, like the comparison that I always give is like a McLaren sports car or a Ferrari sports car is built in a factory wherever country it is, and then they don't just limit those specific vehicles and products to Ferrari dealerships or McLaren dealerships. They send them to exotic car dealerships because they know that they got to put them in front of people. And that's how I view Bitcoin Layer 1 assets, and I think that's how the success happens here. But yeah, Shizzy, did you have something?
Yeah, no. I mean, that was great. It's a great way of putting it as well. But I guess my next question is like, Leo, how do you feel about fragment liquidity? People saying that we're gonna have liquidity on every chain, but like we're not gonna have one place with insane amount of liquidity. I'm curious your opinion on that.
So I think you really have to have this mental model that these other blockchains are just like centralized exchanges. So it's like, you could argue that Bitcoin has the largest liquidity fragmentation problem possible, right? Like this thing is in hundreds of different environments. Every chain, every exchange, every ETF, like it's everywhere, and it seems to not be too big of an issue. So that would be my 2 cents here. Like I think we, as the sort of crypto natives, are very focused on, oh, you're in the Solana cult, or you're in the Bitcoin cult, or you're in the Ethereum cult. The rest of the world could give a shit about any of that, to be totally frank. It's like they're not like, oh, it's on Slingshot, which isn't on X. They don't know or care about any of that. They just want to be able to buy and hold their dog. And pretty much that's like what's important, is that people have access to buy dog. And yeah, it does fragment liquidity. I guess there are some issues that come with that. Ultimately, I think there's no way to get lots of centralized exchange listings and have lots of buy buttons without fragmenting liquidity. What's fundamentally happening is there's not a one solution fits all in crypto where everybody wants to own or buy some crypto token on a specific app. If you're like a 20-year-old kid in America, you're not going to be able to buy on some of these foreign exchanges because you're unable to buy it there. So maybe you'll have to buy it on Robinhood. Maybe you are a little more sophisticated. You want to deploy a bit more capital. You're going to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. You could buy on chain. You could buy wrap BTC on Ethereum or Solana. Like these different solutions that different builders create are going to be fits for specific individuals. And it's like, let people choose where they want to buy dog. Builders will build for specific segments of the market. Let's get dog on all of them. And yes, that will fragment liquidity. I'm personally not super convinced that this is like a major problem. I think the pros of having more buy buttons very much outweigh the quote unquote liquidity fragmentation. But yeah, I think the point that people will make is that, hey, I want to move with size. I want to, deploy $1 million into dog. If you have everything, like the perfect market would be one app that everybody uses, then you would be able to most efficiently put $1 million into dog without moving the market very much. The reality is that's just not how crypto markets work, because the guy who's like buying an ETF of Bitcoin and Fidelity is not interested in buying like Solana Slingshot Bitcoin or something like this. So people have to choose what they want, and we're going to meet people where they are. And I think this is fundamentally just about making it easy to buy dog. All of the technical stuff under the hood, all of the kind of liquidity stuff, as long as we put the buy buttons there, I think that's what ultimately matters.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
And I just think the initiative needs to be that strong to get over the liquidity fragmentation, which I think dog has like the best opportunity for that, because there's so many people behind this right now. And so you keep pushing that, because centralized exchanges, they have their marketing strategies, and some of them have a lot of money towards that, right? Like the Coinbases, the Binances. But right now with this dog initiative, this is the most like support and push that I've seen from chains token going into other environments and stuff. So I think if you guys keep this energy, I think the success will follow, right? With that being said, this has been a lot of energy. We got 2,200 people, almost 2,300 people watching, listening in to you guys. And so, I think that kind of same energy needs to continue. Is that the plan? Is it like, for example, people are talking about Hyperliquid. So if Hyperliquid's the next one, I'm not saying it is, but if it is, are you planning to have a similar experience as today?
So we call it Operation Dog Domination. So there is a strategy around this. And the strategy is, I'm talking with a lot of different partners and builders and infrastructure providers behind the scenes to enable, remember, it's dog everywhere. So it's obviously, we still want the centralized exchange listings. I'm still managing those conversations, but we also want, an Ethereum degen to be able to buy dog, a base degen to be able to buy dog, somebody on Hyperliquid to be able to buy dog, somebody on Cardano to be able to buy dog. There's lots of different, pools of liquidity and chains and builders that have created ways to buy tokens, and we want to put ourselves in front of all of them. So basically the way this will work is, the focus is this move to Solana right now, this bridge to Solana. That is all the focus for the next 7 days, right? There's 100% of attention is like rating, making that as successful as possible, and then we can kind of create a template here where we can do the same thing on other chains, right? There's a bunch of Bitcoin L2s that are super excited about, being able to trade dog on it. We can do this with other apps, other chains, other environments, and just kind of repeat a template of like, we got to set the infrastructure up, make sure there's a really solid bridge like what RuneMine has built. And then we have to, bring some liquidity over. It doesn't work if there's not some liquidity. And then we have to do a really big marketing campaign and be very loud and vocal and like spark the market so that some sort of sustainable trading can begin happening. And then once there's sustainable trading, it can kind of just flow, right? The market will naturally do its thing, but you have to kickstart that. And we've done this with centralized exchanges. This is pretty much the same strategy. Gate.io, I worked with them for months to, get a RUNES integration. They launched their RUNES integration. They list dog, then the dog army comes in and does a lot of marketing and gets people to actually trade on Gate.io and move liquidity into Gate.io so there's actually dog to trade. So it's the same template. It's just that we're doing it with dexes instead of sexes.
Yeah, I love it, 100%. And the best part of this to me is we're kind of locking up dog on Solana. We're locking it up on potentially Hyperliquid, Cardano, and all these other chains, right? And there's not going to be a lot left on Magic Eden. And then you have someone like Fluid can't come in, and they locked up 3.5% of the supply in the staking to earn, another 3 million dog on top of that. Absolutely incredible. The dog army is incredibly strong, but there's not going to be enough dog on Bitcoin anymore. Can we sustain like these? Can we just run? Can dog just absolutely go ballistic?
I mean, I don't know. Look, I think that's the hope. That's certainly the hope and the goal if this works out. I've never done this before, so it could be a flop. Like I can't predict everything, right? But I think it's very much worth trying. I very much do view these apps and these other chains as just places to buy dog. And, I think Fluid tokens on Cardano is a great example. I think, they basically bridged 35 million dog over there. And that's, just to be clear, it's, I think, 0.035%, not 1%, but it's still, quite a bit of dog. And
well,
because we have 100 billion supply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We didn't go
35 million that's staked.
Yeah, it's 35. It's 100 billion is the supply though.
Okay. I got you.
We're not the pump fund tokens that have the billion supply. So it makes it a little harder. I know it's nice because like all the Solana tokens are the same supply. So it's like easy to do the math, but yeah, we're 100 billion. And yeah, basically look, I'm in touch with a lot of people who are excited about making this happen. There's a bunch of Bitcoin L2 builders who are very excited about building experiences. And by the way, there's still a bunch of Bitcoin L1 builders who are building really innovative solutions. So, dog is going to be able to be bought in different ways, and you get to choose what you like. Some people are going to want to use this bridge, which really just means like, hey, I'm downloading Slingshot or Phantom Wallet, and I'm putting a little bit of USDC into it, and then I'm buying dog. Like that's how some people are going to want to buy dog. Other people are going to want to do it on Cardano. Maybe the Cardano degens. Cardano is a pretty big chain. It's a $35 billion market cap. There's a bunch of people there who are going to want to trade dog on Cardano's DEX. There's a bunch of Cardano holders who already hold dog actually. So we just want to make dog available to anyone with the like applications they already have. So we do not want to have the situation which we've had for the past 10 months where it's like, hey, there's this amazing dog coin on Bitcoin. It's organic. It had this fair drop. The narrative is basically perfect. The community is extremely loyal and loud. The only problem is you're going to have to do this to buy dog. And it's like, people are lazy. People on TikTok who hear about dog are not going to do a bunch of steps. What they will do is open their Moonshot app that they already have, they're already using, and tap a button. That is what we're doing here. We're coming to the apps and the experiences that people already use so they don't have to download anything new.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right about that. There are Bitcoin Layer 1, focused projects like Runes Dex. There's Dot Swap, and they have liquidity pools right now. And they're, some of them are working with like different environments that are going to be released with Arch Network and stuff like that. And then you have stuff like Merlin Chain that has a dog pool as well. And so a lot of now they can get excited about this because like now everybody's on the same page. And I really think that, this is going to be just a huge opportunity, and not only for, the Runes ecosystem, but the Bitcoin ecosystem in general with ordinals and everything. Shizzy asked me before you guys jumped on, like, why do you think Leonidas is doing this? And I said, because I think Leonidas has really planted his roots in the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? And so what this can do in the end is really educate people on what's happening on layer 1, like you mentioned earlier, and really bring success to the people that like built in the early days of ordinals and stuff in 2023. With their platforms, you got Liquidium, you got Or.io, which you do, which is an amazing explorer, and other stuff like that. But did I get that right? Is that correct? You put your roots here, and it's more than just making Runes successful.
The logic is twofold. It's like, one, I do think this path, as described earlier, will bring people to Bitcoin L1. It will onboard more people to Bitcoin L1. This is a good thing for Bitcoin L1 builders, actually, because it's going to be easier to buy dog, which gets people kind of starting their journey here. And the second thing is I've had, I would say a frustrating 10 months in conversations with centralized exchanges dealing with the listing process, right? And we've found success at a handful of exchanges, and then we've, come up short at other exchanges. And I'm still very optimistic. I'm still maintaining those conversations. I'm optimistic about listings. I actually think the Solana volume will help us get some of those listings. But ultimately, look, I very much like when the dog army has the power to do things ourselves, and we're not having to like beg some, basically corrupt organization to do something for us. It's like they've created their own game, right? They've set up a game where they have guarded a bunch of liquidity and built up liquidity, and good for them. But then they basically put a gate that is guarding that liquidity, and to get through the gate, you have to pay them a lot of money. And for a bunch of reasons, we don't like this. These exchanges are not listing tokens based on merit. They are not curating the tokens that they think their users should be buying. They're actually taking the highest possible fee that they can get, often from very sort of corrupt, scammy people. And then they're just listing crappy tokens that get dumped on their users. We don't want to be part of this. We will not participate in this. And, now with this new paradigm of Solana, DEXs, these are the new centralized exchanges. Like, that is not something where we have to ask for permission. We just get to go do it. I'm very much a fan of, Satoshi Nakamoto and his vision for like, let's get rid of the banks. Let's be honest. The centralized exchanges are just banks. Okay. Like, fundamentally, that's what they are. The vision should be, let's get everyone on chain. Let's have self-custody. Let's get people trading on decentralized exchanges. I think Satoshi would be very much aligned with this vision. That's what we should be building towards in crypto. There's a lot of people who've worked really hard for the past decade to bring that vision to life. It's actually starting to catch on. There are actually, I think mentioned earlier, tokens like Trump that trade more on DEXs than centralized exchanges. That is such a validation to all of the builders who have been working for a very long time to basically bring, Satoshi's vision to life. And, Dog gets to be part of that. And I think we're honored to be part of that. So it's also just kind of a, practical solution to corrupt listing practices at these centralized exchanges. We're not going to play in their game. We're going to write our own rules. We're going to, think from first principles and critically analyze the situation and draw a line of what we will and won't do. And then we'll work within our own game, and we'll create our own game. And hopefully, if we're successful and we send Dog to the moon, our game becomes bigger than their game. That's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah,
Love it.
absolutely love it, man. It's bringing it on chain. I love it. It's bringing everything back on chain. F the banks, as you could say, the centralized exchanges. Yeah, until they want to play our game, right? Until we're gonna try to beat them, and I love that. But this has been absolutely amazing, guys. I appreciate both you guys. I would love to give you guys a few more minutes to kind of say if there's anything you guys want to talk about. Jeff, we'll kind of start with you.
Yeah, the main thing is in collaboration with Leonidas and the dog team, we've actually dropped our bridging fees to 0, and we're even covering the Solana fees from Bitcoin to Solana. So if you have if you have dog on Bitcoin and you want to take it over to the Solana ecosystem, we'll even cover your Solana gas fee on the other side right now. This will be active for about 1 week. And after that, it'll be going back to the standard fee. So if you are a dog holder and you want to become a liquidity provider, come use the bridge over, and then you can add to the Meteor pool that we already have set up. I think our site might be running a tiny bit slow at the moment.
Understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, come over. It's very simple. You connect your Bitcoin wallet, connect your Solana wallet, and you're able to bridge over. There are no fees on our side for Dog Go to the Moon at the moment. If anyone needs support with anything, come jump in our Discord, open a ticket. We have an incredible array of moderators who are on all times of the day who are willing to help you out. If you don't know much about liquidity provision, do some research. We're going to be dropping some more information about it, but it can be a really interesting strategy, especially if you believe in something in the long term. And the dog army needs your support, so come join the cause, and let's get this token, tradable everywhere, listed on all of the platforms we're looking at. Obviously, we're in conversations with everyone, and people are paying attention to what's happening right now. The more noise that we can make about this, the bigger this is going to be. So, we're super excited. Everything's going in the right direction. And it's a pleasure to be doing this.
Yeah,
Awesome.
man. Absolutely amazing. And thank you for building something like this too, right? We have a lot of people in the space who come in here and build stuff that it's sad to say no one's going to use. You actually built something and had an amazing idea to do this before anyone even thought about doing this. And now you guys are getting getting everything you guys deserve for sure.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. And it comes back to that thing. We're building on Bitcoin, so it's pretty hard for this not to work out in our favor in the long run. It may take some time for the masses to really kind of realize what's happening on Bitcoin, but we don't have to worry about where we go. So, we're building for our future and Bitcoin's future. But it's a pretty easy bet on our side of where to be building.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff. And then Leo, I guess any final words before you exit for the Bitcoin community and people that might be interested in joining the dog army.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to buy dog, there's now a dozen different apps on Solana that make that super, super easy, and that's a great way to just dip your toes in, and then hopefully we'll join you on Bitcoin L1 at some point in the future, and you go down the rabbit hole and own way too many JPEGs on Bitcoin and meme coins on Bitcoin, like we all do. And we look forward to meeting you fully down here, maybe listening to Ordinal Revolution more consistently and showing up to the Ordinal show and really being part of this community in a more deeper way. And everybody who buys a little dog today and clicks that button, we welcome you to the dog army.
Yeah, 100%. And this bridge isn't one way. Like, it's two ways. You can buy it on Solana and bridge it back, right? Like, so that's one thing. It's huge. So
Always.
come on in.
Public and permissionless. That's the way we go.
Awesome. I love this, and I can't wait till for the next environment that we go to. But I know that this is going to be a 5 to 7 day process, and let this kind of play out. But appreciate both of you guys for spending time with us today. 3,150 people listening in, so hopefully we got some new dog army holders in the audience there. But until next time, we will talk to you both soon.
Our pleasure.
This was awesome, guys. Every dog soldier listening, go follow these guys. Go follow Jeff as well, and Rune mine, and appreciate all of you guys. This has been great.
Awesome.
Yeah, cheers for having us, guys.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace. Wow. Absolutely incredible. 3,164 people in here right now, and it just keeps going up. Wow, guys. The dog army is strong. The dog army, the runes,
Very
runes
strong.
are back, man. Runes are back, guys.
Look at you. Look
I
at
don't
this
know.
guy.
I don't know, dude.
I mean,
Well, the energy. So I'm all about energy, bro. I'm all about energy. But I was right before, right? I was right. Everything kind of
he
went
always
down.
has to
I
feel
was
that.
right.
I was right.
I'm
I was
always right, guys. I'm always right. No, I'm just playing. But I do feel that energy coming back, and that is a sense to me is a sense of you got to start paying attention. It pays to pay attention. If you were around right now and you're getting dog at these cheap prices, sky's the limit for you. Sky's the limit for the Runes community, and like for the the Runes haters, right? The BRC20 maxis, I guess you would call them, guys. There's plenty of room here for everything. The more liquidity that comes in is good for every single asset on here. No matter if it's a BRC20, no matter if it's a Rune, no matter
Ordinal.
if it's ARC20, an Ordinal, right? Everything will do better once we get more people paying attention. I love the Bitcoin ecosystem. I love how strong we are here, and we're expanding. We're expanding very quickly, and like you said, let's bring everything on chain. It's like an on chain revolution, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to some of the abstract viewers. I think we got a couple tips in there as well from AGS. Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my my opinion of the narrative just needs to keep pushing really strong.
Yeah.
That message needs to keep pushing very strong. And I think that the community, it's the right community, it's the right person at the charge of it, and everybody's here to support it. So we could see a really thrust up for the Bitcoin ecosystem through this, because again, like, how awesome is the timing for all that stuff to happen on Solana, right? And then now, like, people need something to believe in, and you have people that aren't in the Bitcoin ecosystem every single day, but they checked out Runes last year and they were like, I'm not super impressed because of the experience at launch. But now they're back and saying, like, Newsy Johnson saying, hey, let's run Runes back, right?
Yep.
And Kook gave up on Runes, and now he's like, I'm seeing it all over the timeline. So we're about to see if that is something that plays out, but.
Yeah, 100%. And guys, today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we like to do a quick segment called Wager Wednesday. And Wager Wednesday is all about BetBTC. BetBTC is a a ICP type of way of using Bitcoin. So you take your Bitcoin, all using account abstraction, right? That's what they're kind of using with this.
Yep.
So
yeah, they're
you
using
use
account abstraction. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, preferably Xverse. It does take 6 blocks, but after that, like, you can start placing bets with your BTC.
Yeah, and a lot of new features are coming. So this is a very basic version of a predictions market, but they have amazing stuff coming, guys. Bet with friends. You're going to be able to make markets with your friends and so much more. And they have 24-hour markets that is coming as well, where you're going to be able to bet on prices of Bitcoin. It's basically going to be a way for you guys to, be right. Like, call your friends out and be like, hey, put your money where your mouth is, guys. Go check out betbtc.win. You just check out their wallet. They have a leaderboard as well. You will be getting an airdrop for just signing up, making an account. So it's really easy. You come here, you want to just go to your profile and go to your wallet, and you guys can deposit a really simple right in. And what that does is you're actually not depositing it into anywhere. You're actually just bridging your Bitcoin to CK BTC, which is very common nowadays with bridging. And so this will be your basically your wallet here. And then the big thing though is just signing up. Just sign up with your wallet. This is an airdrop opportunity for every single buddy who gets in. So PJNZ, shout out to you, my friend. You were still number 1.
Webdro,
number 2.
It's the same people that are like in the top for our roll call, right?
Competitive guys, man. Tim Baker too, man. Shout out to all you guys, man. So guys, go sign up for an account here. Super easy. Just connect your Xverse wallet. It's all you got to do, and you immediately will get in this airdrop. And if you want to add a few dollars to take advantage of some of these predictions market, you guys can check everything out there at betbtc.win. But I think that's our show today, man.
Well, real quick, the points and stuff is going towards the TGE. They're not shy about that, and that's going to be a rune, is what they're talking about. I don't know if plans change with that, but I think timing might work out for them very well with that. But anyhow, 3,303 people. We appreciate all of you, and especially for the new audience and newcomers. Welcome to Ordinal Revolution. You know, this is what we do. We try to get, you know, insights from the people behind the projects. You know, tomorrow we will have Arch Network on with some crazy builders as well. Wasabi is going to be there. They are already on Solana, but they're going to be building in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Get excited about that kind of stuff, guys. But we thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you follow Ordinal Revolution on X, as well as Shizzy and myself. It's all going to be in the show notes. But if you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we'd greatly appreciate it. Speaking of this kind of chain abstraction movement, Emblem Vault's going to be a big part of that. Excuse me. They are an interoperability tool to allow you guys to jump your ordinals, your puppets, your node monks, your OMBs from Bitcoin layer 1 to other environments like Abstract, like Base, like Bitcoin layer 2 Merlin, Solana in the future. So this is a movement that's happening, guys. You know, so super excited about that. They also have their Bitcoin AI wallet product that's going to be available very soon, so where you guys can prompt Agent Hustle to be able to vault your ordinals for you. You know, he's going to handle it for you. Also make some Bitcoin transactions on Bitcoin layer 1 for you as well. They're going to have a rune in the future for their TGE the week of September 17th. And you can actually trade that kind of like a pre-rune situation, but it's an NFT style right now on OpenSea, ERC 721, and it's a vault called the Founder Keys, Emblem Founder Vault Keys. And during the week of their TGE, it's going to open up. There's going to have a certain amount of runes in there, which is going to be their rune. So you can learn more about all of this at emblem.vision. And then BetBTC, Shizzy just talked about them. They are the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets on their marketplace. Very soon, you're going to be able to create your own markets and earn up to 1.5% of the total volume. So if you have a big social following, you can really take advantage of that. I'm excited about that. I'm going to be jumping into that. And they'll have a social kind of FI tool to help you with all that stuff. You can learn more at betbtc.win. And then BitPerp is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade your dog go to the moon synthetic runes on Bitcoin layer 2 very soon. They're going to have all types of Bitcoin layer 1 fungibles, as well as some tokens outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem that has a lot of volume, like the Trump token if you want to short, stuff like that. Super exciting stuff. They're going to be more than just a leverage DEX, though. Think something similar to Hyperliquid, like a supercharged DeFi type of application there. You can learn more at bitperp.io, and they do have a point system as well. So make sure you're messing around there for their future TGE. And then Fluid tokens. These guys are in Hong Kong consensus. So if you are going to happen to be there, make sure you swing by their table. They were the first to introduce staking vaults for the retail public on Bitcoin layer 1. Right now, they have the season 2 of Dog Go to the Moon, to where you can stake that for a 3 million pool of Dog Go to the Moon to split between all the stakers. And they have staking vaults available for different assets on Bitcoin layer 1 as well. If you are a founder of an ordinal collection or a rune, you know, you etched a rune with a community, you got to have established a community, though. Reach out to Raul, which is a CTO. He'll get you set up for a staking vault for your community there. You can learn more at fluidtokens.com. And Merlin Chain, the #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. We just talked to Leonidas about how Merlin Chain has a Dog Go to the Moon pool on Merlin Swap. So if you want to swap for Dog Go to the Moon, you can use Merlin tokens or your wrap Bitcoin over there, and you can swap for it. You can add LP to earn some rewards there. Also, if you're a builder and you want to make your protocol a bit more flexible, you know, it is a Bitcoin layer 2, so it's going to be quicker, you know, more seamless. You can reach out to them and apply for their builder's grant. Learn more about all of this at merlinchain.io. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Clan Wars, which we live stream every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Everybody's invited. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet or one of the wallets that they accept. I believe the Solana wallet in Phantom they accept, and maybe a couple other ones. You can play. And if you happen to get more kills than the founder, one of the co-founders, Aaron, you will win, I believe, possibly $300 this coming Tuesday, because Shizzy's putting up $150 of his own money because he has so much faith in Aaron, because he's amazing.
I do.
But anyways, make sure you check out that. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2. Cheapest Ordinals around are going to be on Ordinal Hive. And you can also use their trading tools like Live Mempool Insights. We thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job as always, man. If you guys have a few more minutes, wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles, guys, all the way back to, I want to say, a year and a half at this point. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN that's Nord. $3 a month, guys. You should not be going to these websites with your IP hanging out. I don't want to see that. You don't want that to happen. Don't do it. Get a VPN. If it's not Nord, get another one. There's free ones out there, but if you want the best, it's $3 a month, guys. I think we all can afford that. And then Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas. We have tickets here, guys. This is going to be a fun event because I think we're going to see potentially dog at 2 billion. We could see Bitcoin up at like 200, 300,000. It could be absolutely amazing, and you want to be a part of it. But don't wait till May to get your tickets. Get them as soon as possible. Use our link here. Every single Friday, it feels like it goes up. It's all about supply and demand. Right now, there's more supply than there is demand, so they're keeping the price at a very affordable price. Get in there, check it out. You guys can actually pay with Bitcoin as well. Shout out that event, and we might be at the news desk on that one. That could be a really fun show. To check out everything here at ordinalrevolution.com. If you guys need merch for that event or any event, we have some of the best merch in here. We actually have dog shirts if you guys are interested in showing your support for dog. I rocked one in Bitcoin Nashville. It was fun. It was exciting. Just check out everything here at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. We are here all week. We do about an hour and a half to 2 hour show. Check us out, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
We OG, oh no, You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal revolution. Ayy. Ordinal revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.